Rock City Studios. We cannot forget our plug.
Downtown
They do a lot of good work over here.
Lion City.
Downtown Ventura, Rock City Studios.
Lion City.
Lion City.
Lion City, sir.
We're back.
And we have a special guest coming out,
Very special.
giving Rick James a run for his money.
Giving him a run for his money.
And I mean, I'm being very lenient when I say that.
I know you're being lenient. Go hard with it, though.
You know, I want to have her on the stage right now. If we could bring out Paige Alyssa,
Paige Alyssa.
an amazing artist. And we will be talking about some of the work that she has. How you doing, Paige?
Welcome to the show.
Good.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
the show, indeed, indeed.
Thanks for having me.
You know, this is exciting. First of all, for our audience, I'm gonna read some lines.
I want you to do that.
I'm gonna read some lines, and the first line from Helen of Troy.
Helen of Troy.
I ain't looking for no drama. You can say that it's for your mama.
What? What else you got?
What you gotta say about that, Paige?
I mean, you know, I am just a very chill person.
Yeah?
That particular song, like, it's about like me being in a relationship and people just having like a lot of stuff to say about the person I was
Okay.
with, you know?
Right.
And I'm just like, look, like I'm not looking for no drama. I'm just trying to like have a good time
Right.
with like my girl and just chill out. And so that's where that song came from. And that's
Okay.
where that line is.
Cause is this the same girl that's in the song Presentation where you say you set the table for me and you cook for me all your favorite foods in the new?
Yeah,
new.
it
Is
is.
this the same girl?
It is the same
Whoa, okay.
girl. The same girl. Indeed. Indeed.
This girl right
Y'all
here.
did y'all's homework.
We did our homework
We did
because
our homework. We ready for you.
you
Oh
know,
my God.
Yeah, well, you know, this is the spot. This is Luminary Sounds, and
No,
we are
happy
here
to be
with
here.
Rock City Studios. We cannot forget our plug.
Downtown
They
Ventura.
do a lot of good work over here. Downtown Ventura, Rock City Studios.
Lion City.
Lion City, sir.
Lion City.
Listen.
Lion City.
We all make mistakes
We
in
made
here.
mistakes.
Absolutely.
So it's Lion City Studios.
Lion City Studios. And
Downtown
this is
Ventura.
our second time, and that's our guy
Yes.
Troy in the back.
Troy in the back.
Troy, speak,
Shout out to
next time,
Troy.
speak
I
up.
know. Speak up, man. He over here putting the L and the C and stuff. LBC. We don't know what you're talking about, Troy.
Sorry.
It's okay. We love you, Troy.
So anyway, yeah. So I love the music, the lyrics especially, because like I would tell anybody out there, if you have a lady, you better hide her, because
Hide that
Paige
lady.
Alyssa is coming for her, right?
yeah.
And
So that's that's instead of Mr. Steal Your Girl, Mrs. Steal Your Girl.
I mean, honestly, truly.
Man.
listen. No, but all jokes aside,
Yeah.
the music was really good.
Thank you.
The album that I'm talking about with Helen of Troy, Presentation. Can you talk more about that, please?
Yeah, so like those two records come off of my latest LP, Who Was Paige Alyssa, and I actually had like the first anniversary of it yesterday, so it's
Okay.
been out for a year.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. No, it was a really fun project to create, and like I was just trying to put something out in the world that spread joy and like gave folks who identify the same way as I do a reason to like, you know, celebrate themselves, because like we know the political climate that we're in right now isn't so conducive to everybody.
Right.
So I was like, instead of putting together a record that is like super duper heavy and talking about like, you know, a lot of things that are important, like police brutality and like, you know, structural racism and oppression, for me, I wanted to write from a place of love versus writing
That's
from
a lot of love.
Yeah, like I really wanted to write from a place of love
That's
and a place
awesome.
of joy versus writing from a place of anger, because as a songwriter, it's really hard for me to write from those places, you know? So it feels more authentic for me to write about stuff like joy and love and sex, and like for somebody being like, you know, a queer black woman, like folks just don't even think that I deserve any of those things,
Right.
happiness or love. So I'm
There's
like,
a lot of cruelty in this world.
yeah, so I was
Absolutely.
like, instead of like, you instead of addressing it head on, I'm just gonna address it as if, like, I'm gonna write as if I deserve those things, and no one's gonna question me for it. And so that's how Who is Paige Alyssa came about.
Now, you're actually from a beautiful city, St. Louis.
St. Louis, 314.
They featured it in the magazine, right?
Yeah, I've been featured in a lot of magazines in St.
you
Louis.
go.
Especially St. Louis. They show a lot of love to you.
Yes, no, I love my city. Love my city.
How much influence did your city have on your music?
I mean, a lot, so all the musicians that I grew up with, my mom is a musician, so she's been playing piano and organ since I could remember, like literally over 40 years she's been doing that. So I got my first introduction to music through like the Baptist church in St. Louis.
You used to sing in the church?
Yeah, sang in the church. I played
Good
drums
church
since
girl.
I was 9. Yes, a very good church girl,
That's
as
where the soul
reflected in
comes
my
from.
lyrics. As reflected in my lyrics, no. But like I grew up playing drums in church and singing in church, and then I went to Webster University, got my degree in jazz vocal performance, and that gave me the opportunity to work with some of like the best musicians ever, because St. Louis has some of like the best musicians ever.
Yeah. They get down for sure.
Yeah, so like I was put in a position like, in my early 20s to like where I had to stretch out as a musician. I had to have my stuff together, because in order for me to be on these bandstands, like I just had to have it together. So like without that training that if I didn't have that training that I had for my city, I just wouldn't be the musician or songwriter I am today.
Okay. And at this moment, we will take a break, and I want to play one of these riveting songs by Paige Alyssa. I think I'm going to play Slip and Slide for y'all.
You know that's
a
my
good one.
song.
Put on Slip and Slide,
Slip
and
and Slide.
be careful when you listen to this record.
Caution.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Slip and Slide. Well, I was jamming that thing.
No, that's my shit.
Jamming that thing.
I was jamming that thing.
So we back.
We are back, and I was trying to serenade, but it didn't
It
go
sounded
quite.
great. No,
Oh, well,
it
thank
was
you.
perfect.
You were doing your thing.
Yeah, it was
Thank you,
great.
Paige.
It was great.
You know you don't know the
Thank
words.
you. I know a lot of the words, sir. I've been jamming this album.
Okay.
Speaking of the album, Plug. So you're the plug.
Yes,
Is
I
your
am.
body the plug?
I mean, everything. Like, I have the swag, I have the love,
Okay.
I have the look, I got the
Okay.
music. I'm just like, yeah. you know
Okay,
what I'm saying?
cocky.
Just a little bit. Just
You
a little
know.
bit, but she's pretty confident. You know
Yes.
what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yes.
Now, I seen on your bio you have another album, but I couldn't find it on Tidal or iTunes or whatever. Let me see if I get the. Well, how many albums do you have?
So, all right. So I recorded my first EP back in 2014. So that was The Wait Is Over. That
The
might
Wait
have
Is
been the one that you haven't been able to
That's
find.
the one. That's the Detox album.
Y'all
of the
did
year.
y'all's
Yeah.
homework.
And I'm like,
oh
where's
my
the
God.
wait? The wait is over.
The wait is
you
over.
can't find it.
We got her right here. She's gonna tell us where we can
I'm
find
trying
it.
to find it.
Yeah.
It should be on Tidal. Honestly, I don't know why you all haven't been able to find it on Tidal, because it should be there. It's definitely on Apple Music.
Okay.
And
Album.
it's on
You know what?
SoundCloud, I think.
Maybe
too.
when you put it out at that time, you just had it programmed for Apple without sharing it to everyone.
Right. I
Possibly.
mean,
You got to click that indicator and
Right,
share
and
it
then
to the rest
just
of
put
the...
it to. It should be
Yeah,
there. I'm
just
about to
share
check
that-
that out, because it
Yeah.
should definitely be on there.
We do our homework here.
Yes, y'all
We're trying to
do.
help the artists get all your streams up, get your
Exactly.
albums out there.
Yes.
But what about that album is special to you?
I mean, everything. So that's my first EP ever. Like, I wanted to do something that set me apart from being a jazz singer, because that's what everybody knew me as, and I wanted just to do something to start my journey on as like a pop singer. That was the first time I worked with Darren, my publicist that y'all
Okay.
see out there.
Shout out to Darren.
Yeah, Darren Lewis, publicist, manager, all
Darren over there
around.
looking clean right now.
Right.
He is.
I
In
can't put him
in
on the
the
club. He might
pants.
take my girl.
He got the jeans and everything.
You know what I'm saying?
Hat
But,
to the back.
Yeah.
So
They both come out look like they came out of a movie.
Yeah, they did. And then the other one got the little flannel pants with the white shoes.
I'm crying. Y'all
Man.
Hey, we just keep it real
White
over here.
tee.
No, I love it. But I mean, like,
Man.
it was my first EP, and like
Right.
I was just getting my sound together.
Yeah.
I worked with this really great producer by the name of Wolfgang Blair, and like he helped me just get
you
the
still working
ball
with him?
rolling. So ever since that EP, I've actually produced and written everything by myself.
Interesting. So
Yes.
you play your own instruments.
I do.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So-
Everything.
Is it better that way that conjuring
Right.
from your own mind?
I mean, I love collaborating with folks, you know what I'm saying? But I think at least during that time, that was like 5 years ago, I was still trying to figure out what my sound was, you know?
How long did that whole album take?
For me to like record it and everything, or just everything.
Yeah, the whole process. Because I know it's your first one.
Yeah, it was like 4 songs in there, and all the songs were like really short. It probably took me like 7 months, maybe.
Okay.
I went through a process where I produced everything by myself at first. It was my first time ever doing it, and like I thought it sounded like trash. So I did, at that point I was like, I need to like seek out the help of somebody who has like a better footing on this. Like I don't ever feel bad about asking for help.
Okay.
And so like that's when I met Wolfgang Blair, and like we kind of put my ideas that I had and like his expertise and like put those things together to kind of do my first ever record.
Okay.
And then from there I just kind of kept listening to some of my favorite artists and kept learning and exploring, and then like pushing my own limits to the point where like I could start producing all of my own stuff, and like here I am.
So do you ever get lost in producing your own music?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
every
you
time
got instrumentals all over the place.
Yeah, like
okay.
oh my god,
That's amazing.
like it's just between my girlfriend and Darren, like because they spend the most time with me, like I'll be up at like all times of the night working on stuff, and so like I have like all types of just songs that I've worked on and threw away, and then like actually Presentation on my record, like I recorded that song maybe 2 years before Who Was Paige Alyssa came out, and I wasn't gonna put it on there. But Darren's like, you have to put Presentation on there. Like, I just was going to just let it float away. You know what I'm saying?
And the lyric for
Good job,
Presentation
Darren.
is, once again, for anybody that missed it,
Go
you
on,
set
tell me
the
again.
table
Yes.
for me and cook me all your favorite foods in the nude.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It almost didn't make the record. So, like, just all types of stuff.
So I don't even
mentioned-
want to get to that line on Slip and Slide when you promise you can make the some dreams come true. But we're going to let y'all check that out on your own.
Yes.
Y'all gonna check that out on your own. Now, I noticed you mentioned your influences.
Mm-hmm.
Who are some of the influences over time that you listened to that you said, man, if I could do it like that person?
Oh, man. I mean, I love New Jack Swing so much.
Me too.
So much.
Look, he's holding his heart.
Right? I mean, I
he
get
really
it.
does.
I
Teddy
get it.
Riley.
Yes, Teddy
Keith
Riley.
Sweat.
All of them. Jimmy
I'll
Jam
be
and Terry
sure.
Lewis. Like, I don't know. Like, I mentioned to you all before I came in here, I was playing Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
So, growing up in church and my mom being a music minister, like, I only listened to gospel music for probably the first 9 years of my life.
BBCC?
Yeah, BB and CC, Hezekiah Walker,
Yeah.
John P. Key, Kurt Franklin, family, all of
We
them.
about to go to church up in here.
Like, that was like just in my DNA at such an early age, and so I went from that, and then so I was listening to gospel music and I was listening to Sonic the Hedgehog soundtracks, and so
Wow,
I'd be sitting there like just playing the video game and singing along to whatever the melody
It is
was.
a nice little blend. I know what you're saying. I
Yeah,
can hear it too. or
you
whatever.
know?
I hear a lot of the church in your voice and stuff like
Yes.
that, and a lot of the electric sounds. That
Yeah, so like
bring
I try
together.
to like bring all that stuff together, and I think because of those two specific influences, like when I discovered New Jack Swing, when I like started listening to like Teddy Riley stuff and like New Edition, Janet Jackson.
I love it. Keep going. Keep going.
Huge Prince fan. Like all these things started like just kind of being mixed into this melting pot. So like my
That's great.
influences like range all the way from like Ella Fitzgerald and Sarah Vaughan to like Janelle Monáe, Beyonce, Prince. Just like it runs the gamut.
Very
like,
well rounded.
Thank
Very
you.
well rounded.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, if you could work with any specific artist, who would you work with?
Right now, I really, really want to work with Bruno Mars and Janelle Monáe.
That's good.
Oh,
I feel like my music now, like The Plug, everything on Who Is Paige Alyssa, I feel like if I had the chance to work with Bruno and Janelle, like it would just be like some next level.
electric.
It
really would.
It would be nuts, you know
Because
what I'm
that's
saying?
what they do.
Right, because I remember when 24K came out, I was just about to release The Plug, and then like Bruno dropped 24K, and
you
I was
said,
like,
man, I ain't about to put this.
I was like, you completely took like everything I've been working on, but like it was really cool though.
But it's inspiring.
Yeah,
though,
like
I'm
it's
sure.
really dope to know that like somebody like Bruno, like I feel like I'm headed in the right direction because like he did 24K so well, and like that whole album is like
That's
a
a
New
great
Jack
album.
Swing album, and like to hear that New Jack Swing isn't dead because like people don't ever tap into that style of music because it's really hard to do.
Yeah.
Either you do it really well or it sounds really cheesy.
Yeah.
So it was cool hearing Bruno and like knowing that I had this coming down the pipeline and knowing that like somebody that's a mainstream pop artist also has their ear to the same genre. So
Right.
that was really dope for me.
I will tell you, New Jack Swing is my favorite period. in music.
Yeah,
so it's
like,
very, very cool
so
to hear
good.
someone else have that same passion.
Yes.
Do you think that sound makes you so much different than the other artists out there?
I mean, I think because like I have all these other influences, and the fact that like I'm a really good singer makes me different from a lot
And
of
listen, she
artists.
is Captain Confident.
And that's like no
and
shade.
It's true. She is good though. Normally I would say shut your mouth, but she's telling the truth. Her album is really dope, and
It is.
I'm keeping it
Look,
real.
I mean,
you
I
gotta
appreciate
be confident
it.
to have the lyrics that she got.
I mean, you know, I just really like. I like
Should you
being
read
a
the
really good
lyrics again?
singer. You know.
You want to read the lyrics again?
No. I'm gonna let it
please,
slide.
We're gonna let it slide. We're gonna let it slide. We're gonna let it slide.
I'm gonna let it slide. But no, I don't think I'm gonna let it slide. Again, Helen of Troy.
Oh my God.
I ain't looking for no drama. You can say that for your mama.
Save it for your mama.
So she has a lot of swag in her music, and it really shows.
Thank
and you know
you.
what I like about it is like it's like you having a conversation with somebody. The beat comes on, you're like, hey, what you doing?
That
Yeah,
means
she
I'm
got
doing
that
my
going.
You wanna
job
go over
well.
there? I'm like, is she talking to me?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Let's go.
No, the song started. I was like, this is smooth.
I know. Let's go. Let's hang out.
Yeah.
That means a lot to me, honestly.
Well,
Because
well,
like
I'm glad
sometimes
it
in the
does.
studio, for me to like get into that headspace, like I'll just be like, it would be like multiple takes of me laughing at myself into
Right,
the mic. So
right.
I really appreciate that
No,
it's
we
coming
enjoy it.
across.
It sounded authentic. So
Great.
does.
Then I'm doing my job.
man,
then.
that's dope. That's dope. So are you working on anything new? A new
I
album?
mean, I'm always working on something new. You know, by the time like y'all hear stuff, I'm already like 3-4 tracks into something else.
Really? Okay.
So I mean, you know,
Are you gonna save it or are you gonna put it out?
I mean, I don't know. That's a secret. It's a
Okay.
secret. I mean,
A
whenever
lot of secrets going on tonight.
you know,
What's going on?
it's a secret. I mean, for me, I create consistently. Like I try to sit down on my computer at least like, you know, at some point every night to sit down and like produce or listen to what I'm like working on, you know? It just kind of depends on like how the spirit leads me, how
Yeah.
the universe leads me, you know what I'm saying? If it's a song that I really, really believe in, then like, you know, I'm like, we have to put this out because like, I feel like the universe is telling me I have to do that.
So are you like a Jackson Pollock blank canvas and whatever you know, you paint,
up,
that's what
yeah.
it is? Or do you have something in mind that when you go in there, this
I
is what's gonna
mean,
be?
it's different every time. Sometimes I'll hear a chord progression and I'll lay the chord progression down and like, you know, build on top of that.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll hear a melody. Sometimes I'll hear a chorus. Like I remember when I was writing The Plug, all I heard was, baby, I've got the plug. I kept hearing that over and over again.
You could keep going.
And so then
I'm on my neck.
on
is,
now.
my neck is already in
already
it.
in it.
Let's go. Let's
Hey.
go.
And I take you higher. But like,
Okay.
I be hearing stuff like that sometimes, and so like
Absolutely.
it just goes over and over in my head, and then I just like build off of that. So it really just depends. Sometimes I sit and just create, and I don't have any intention at all of really doing anything major to it. I just do it because I love to do it.
You never get nervous, right? What makes you nervous?
What makes me nervous?
It's confidence.
Because we'll have people on the podcast and they won't sing a lick of a
They
note.
won't say
I
nothing.
mean, I don't get nervous about singing anymore. So like I used to be really nervous when people would ask me to sing like
Yeah.
at the drop of a hat when I was
Right.
younger. But like I had to get out of that because like I feel like I have a God-given gift. I feel like if anybody is an artist and like they have a gift from a higher power, like I feel like this was bestowed upon me. Like I didn't like go and get this. It was
like
it
that.
was given
yeah,
to
I
me.
like that as well. That's great.
So like if folks ask me to sing, then like, you know, I'm gonna sing because
gonna
like
sing,
why would
yeah.
I like put the lid on top of something that God
Absolutely.
gave to me, you know? So I try not to be. There are absolutely times where I am nervous. Like my first show out here in LA, I was like so nervous. Like when I was done, I was like dripping sweat because I was so
Underarms and everything?
Yeah, I was like soaked. I had like a Nike
Now, where was
windbreaker
Darren
on.
at? He didn't help you out?
Darren, I mean, I was on stage and
Darren was looking fly over there.
He's
He's
Right.
like, he was like, I
What
ain't
are you
got time for
worried
that.
about?
Darren got me on the stage. He was like, I'm done. I did my job.
I did my job.
You're
I'm
here.
out of here.
Right.
Bye.
It was a cool show. I was just like, you know, it was my first show in LA. So like I was singing my tail off and
Yeah.
like, you know, I got off and I was just like, damn, I didn't realize how in it I was. But yeah, no, I get nervous. I do.
Okay, so speaking of that nervousness, is there a most embarrassing thing that's happened to you on stage or in music?
Whew.
And we gotta get the
Yeah,
truest.
When she said that, I was like, she
Oh my
got us right into the
God.
question.
Oh man, so one of the most embarrassing moments, like I forget lyrics all the time. Like I'll forget my
Oh,
own
man.
lyrics. Like, if I drink too much before a show, I'll forget my own stuff.
So how do you get out of that?
I just, the older I get, I'm just honest about it. Like, I remember one day I was like, doing a show and like I was singing one of my songs and I forgot the second verse. And the band just kept, I had like 2 vodka cranberries and I was, I don't drink that often
She's a
anymore.
lightweight.
I am a lightweight. I was just like,
Umbrella Sour does it for me.
it used to.
We're gonna give her Dasani.
Listen, I was just honest. I was like, I forgot the second verse of my own song, and like my girlfriend was in the audience and was like mouthing the words to me, and I was like, yes,
She's trying to help you out.
Thank you, and I got right back into it.
That should have been Darren, but he went off somewhere else.
On a runway somewhere.
Absolutely. So you're working on new music, but you're not sure when you're gonna put it out. How can people hear? Well, let me ask this in a certain way.
Yeah.
Do you think that in this stage where people are putting out music so often now, do you feel like you kind of rush to do the same thing, or do you feel like I still got to keep it to myself?
I mean, like I said earlier, everything just kind of goes back to how I feel moved. I know the music industry is to the point where people are dropping singles and singles and singles. Like, I've consistently...
there's no pressure from others.
No, because, like, at the end of the day, like, this is... My craft is not gonna... Like, my music is not gonna affect anybody else's success and vice versa. So, like, I try to... And it's hard, but I really do try to veer away from, like, keeping up with the Joneses and just do what is authentic to me in my music,
That's pretty
great.
cool. That's pretty cool.
So, like, you've been doing this for quite some time. What advice would you give younger kids that are coming out, or just someone that wants to get into what you're doing but doesn't know where to go or where to start? What's the advice you would give them?
I mean, just do it,
What if they're afraid? What can you do to encourage them to get out of that being so scared?
I mean, as long as you love it and you do it for yourself, that needs to be the only thing that you're worried about. Like, I know that, like, I used to be really nervous about dropping music, especially when I took over, like, the producing reins all by myself. But at the end of the day, though, it's like you have to believe in what you're bringing to the table, and, like, you just have to do it, because, like, I wouldn't be here in, like, Los Angeles having this conversation with y'all if I wouldn't have, like, taken that first step to reach out to Darren and be like, hey, I think I want to release an EP.
Right.
I have no idea what it's going to sound like, and like it was a journey and a process, but like if you don't take that first step and just do it, you won't ever see where your journey is going to be or where you're going to end up at. So like you just have to power through and like, have fun doing it.
Have fun.
Have you considered like going on television shows as well to get more exposure for yourself?
Yeah,
I see the eyes roll.
Yeah, the eyes roll.
I'm
Must have
not
been a bad experience.
I appreciate like, shows like that because, not everybody can be able-bodied. Like I realize that like I have a certain level of privilege because like I have a college degree and like going to college allowed me to be in spaces with people who are other musicians and allowed me to meet Darren who like got his degree in like PR. Like I know that like I was set up in a specific way to have access to. I really don't have to rely on those things like being like a professionally trained vocalist, But for me, I'd rather just go ahead and take the slow burn route and just build my brand, build my fan base, one fan authentically at a time.
Right.
And I like having the creative control. Like I don't have like, a bunch of producers telling me when I'm going to sing and what I'm going to sound
That's
like.
good.
So
awesome.
like no shade to people who do that.
Freedom
like
to be independent.
Yeah, like do your thing for sure. Like I know that, folks not everybody's going to have the same access to things that I have. So like, go for it. It's not my cup of tea. But I know that people have gotten success for that and have been able to like exercise their craft from that. So
I do want to ask you a question. Do you find a lot of haters in your world where people that
Speak
know
about
you,
them haters.
I gotta speak about it. People that know you don't really support you the way that you believe that they should. For example, I know for myself, when I was doing music, I had a whole city, and they'll hear this on the podcast, and I don't care.
Yeah.
But I had a whole city of people that knew me, that didn't support me the way that I got a lot of support in California. And I was like, that's weird. I grew up with these people. I spent time with them. I went to school with these people.
Right.
And I realized that, the people that know you the most, sometimes they feel like they're going against you. Like if your success has something to do with their success, they compare.
Yeah.
And do you find yourself like facing those same kind of things, or?
I mean, I've never have seen that like outwardly you know, or let me rephrase it. I've never had people like be like blatantly in my face about it.
Right.
You know, as an independent artist, like I'm definitely guilty of being like, you know, I'm not getting supported or I'm not like getting the shine that I deserve in my city. But like, honestly, it took me moving out to Los Angeles to like really like, you know.
So you had to
realize,
move to get the love.
I mean, I already had the love, you know. I just
She's
I was
like,
just
you know,
way
she hasn't
too.
had anyone come up to her. You suck.
Yeah, like I think I was just really way too stubborn and like,
Yeah.
you know, headstrong.
That's
Like
great.
I really thought that I was the shit.
Yeah.
And I
That's
mean,
good.
I am, but
That's
the
good.
thing
Derek, come
is,
get your girl.
but the thing is like, you know, I had to like, you know, realize I'm like people are out here supporting you. Like when I moved out here, like I felt so much love back home, and every time I go back home I get so much love. So like I don't know, I'm not on the lookout for people who aren't supporting me, because
Yeah.
I'd rather like put my energy towards the people who are. And like I'm really glad that I was able to move out here and like grow up and realize that like the love and support that I didn't think I was getting at certain points in my career was always there.
Wow.
It's just like, you know, for some reason I was just too stubborn, and like, you know, sometimes it's easy to be negative,
Right.
you
That's
know?
true, that's true.
And like it took me like leaving home and growing up and being like, no, I really do have a great base back home, and every time I go back there I'm received with love.
I mean,
That's
they look at you
incredible.
as a star, though. Like when you go home, they're like, she's doing things out there.
I mean, because my whole thing with coming out here is like I want to be able to come out in LA and establish myself and like get those resources and stuff out here and then bring it back home to St. Louis,
you
because
go. There you
like
go.
the folks back home deserve that. Like
Absolutely.
the best musicians in the world are there.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I want to bring it. I want to make them proud out here and like, you know, be able to bring them up with me, and like we can continue growing together. You
That's
know?
good, yo. So I want you to let our listeners know where they can find your music, the music that you do have out.
Yeah.
And, you know, your social media contacts and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. So if you want to keep up on social media with me across all platforms, my handle is Miss Paige Alyssa. That's MSPAIGEALYSSA, and that's like across SoundCloud, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that. And then if you want to listen to my music, I am on Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify, anywhere you stream music.
Right.
Just look up Paige Alyssa. You can check me out there. And every now and then I'll like release like a 1-minute jam on my Instagram. So
Yeah,
if you want to
yeah.
get those extra goodies, make sure you follow me on my Instagram.
Go get them extra
And
goodies.
it's
Yeah.
called Who is Paige Alyssa?
My latest album?
Yes.
Yes. Who is Paige Alyssa?
Who is Paige
Paige
Alyssa?
Alyssa.
Yes. So it's a great album.
Thank you.
It's got a lot of things going on in it, lyrically, but it is a passionate album, which
It's a
I
treat.
respect
Thank
the
you.
most, because she's really telling it like it is and from her point of view. So we want to say thank you to Paige Alyssa for coming on the show.
Thank you all
Paige.
so
It was a
Alyssa,
pleasure.
It
You are
was
incredible. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, you know, to the next time, again, this is Luminary Sounds, your musical artist, Junior LLedo.
I'm your musical enthusiast, Francois the Great.
Yeah, we are out.
We are out of here.